Good afternoon, everybody. Um, Wanted to basically do a little 15 to 20-minute video here just to show you guys some stuff on Sierra charts. Um, I've had a couple of requests, so I just want to make sure that uh, I can get those people to. I can answer some questions for those people. I'll start with basically that's my regular market profile that I use just for ES and NQ. And I have a question where on my, let's say, 15-second charts here. All right, no, that's not the one. That's right. For the right one here. It's basically, should be this one. All right, so I can't find the chart. I was just in front of it 2 seconds ago. That's not the one. Okay, so I have a couple of charts up here, so sorry. It's gonna come. There's a chart where it has the profile right in it. Here. This is the one. So this is the chart that I use just to have the daily profile, the volume profiles, right? And one of my trader friends wanted to know how I can put this volume profile into, well, how she wanted to put this into her charts. Studies. So you right click, studies, and it's basically, it's here somewhere, sorry. It's the VBP sessions, and then you go to volume by price. Here you look for volume by price. Here you are. So I already have it set up. So what I could do is just show you the settings. So it's VBP. I just changed the settings. So I just right click settings, left click settings, sorry. And here is the settings for this. All right. So it gives you from session last 1 day. You can play around with the dates, but it's not a problem. You should have maximum volume bar width. So this here, I'll show you what this does. 25, 50. If I hit apply, just look at here, okay? It just shrinks the volume profile. If you don't want it too big, 25 seems to be a good, and you can play around with. So again, I'm just gonna do this like that. Here, you can look at the settings. Then you can just basically name this, I call it volume by price on, let's say, 20-second chart. That's my 20-second chart. And then you could save this as a setting, as default. Okay, I'll show you how that works. So this is my regular ES 20-second chart, just for context when I'm looking around. If I don't want to, if I want something that's not like not the market profile, so just the regular charts. Then I could actually save this. I'm just going to save this as 30-second chart studies. All right, save it. Yes, boom. And then you lower that. I had an NQ chart, which was that. So my NQ already has, yeah, so the volume profile is there too. So the same thing, I could just name this again, but I think this here is not ideal for 50. I like 25. I like shrinked a bit. Did that work? Nope, that's not what we wanted. So this is what we wanted. 25. Shrinks it a bit. All right, so there we are. So this way I'm able to see, like the low volume areas and all that with the chart. And I think we might have to roll these contracts because we are contract rollover, right? So I rolled them to September. That'll be good automatically. I already rolled the market profiles. What a day. June 11th, 2020. Yeah, it was a really down day. Okay, so just wanted to actually drum. What happens with rollover is that every time you have to play around with the levels, right? So the levels get shifted a bit and changed. We had decent single prints here all day. Uh, this is just unbelievable. These single prints have not even been filled from like previous days. So that's why I think this was basically a nice structural uh, structural repairing basically. The market repaired all the structure that it did not come and close these previous single prints. So we left a single print here. This 3014, 3015 for me is going to be a key area to look at. But first thing I want to see is I just noticed that here in this level, um, that's the 29.95, right? Sellers got shut off. So this single print we developed well above it a couple of times. I have not put in the T-Pox yet, so I generally, as you all know, I'm just gonna copy one for now and then I'll show you. Today's T-Pox time point of control was here. I like to put them in, whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. So you can play around with the scaling here. Where's my T-Pox? Here it is. I just want to update this. Oh, what happened there? My T-Pox is normally blue, so why is it? Alright, here we are. That's the T-Pox from, I like to put the dates too, so 11 June 2020. The reason why I like to put the dates is, I'll show you in 2 seconds. You know, when we have contextual days, like the FOMC from yesterday, well, what happened? Look at the FOMC. So that was June 10th, right? Let's look at it. What a weird day, June 10th yesterday. Look, shot up, came back down. I mean, nothing really told me that FOMC, that would be a really the top of the market there. But one thing that I did like is that in the overnight, we never came back to test that T-Pox. So that's already like, okay, so I think market wants to discover prices lower. This was the clue. I don't even think, no, I don't even think, except the fact that NQ was doing like new highs in the day, I think ES was a total negative bearish day. That single print, and then so we gap down, nice gap, right? And if you look at it here, opened in the overnight range, but tested several times. This was tricky. I think NQ was a lot clearer and it was actually going up. So if you look at the NQ profile here for today, it kind of got all the buyers thinking we're going up, and yes, doing totally different scenario. So all these was a nice little move up. I actually made decent plays in this one here. I shorted and went long, decent plays. Initial balance, small break of the initial balance here, and then flushed basically. Once we had this single print, I think that single print should have just told us that this was going to be a really disastrous day, and also giving up these previous T-Pox, a nice little cluster of T-Pox here. That was also a signal that, you know, look, market really wanted to explore the lower prices. That's how I see this. These other blues are like T-Pox from previous days. So if you just go back, 96.666, 96.43. Let's go see. What did I do? Okay, here, 96.66 and 96. Here. So they're like T-Pox from. So that was from June 4th. 4th of June. T-Pox. So it automatically writes it down and it extends it so it's easier for me to. Same thing here. What day is that? That's the 3rd of June. 3rd of June. So we had a decent, what, 5-6% drop today in the markets. That's pretty stuff. That's pretty good volatility. So I didn't really look or pay attention to the, how you call it, the internals today. Maybe that could have given some good highlights, but I didn't look at it at all. I use Thinkorswim for the internals, so that was it. And I believe the other question was in regards to footprints. Here we are. This is my 30-minute footprint. The way we can have footprint on Sierra is you basically, okay, so don't really pay attention to all of this, but I have the initial balance high, the first 5 minutes range always on my charts. And it's basically, sorry, I'm looking for it. Where is it? Number bars. Okay, these are my delta information here at the bottom. And if you want basically to know how I put the footprint up, normally my footprint is here, so I call it pullback bars. I don't know why I call it like that, but here, this is my footprint. So number bars is what you have to look for. Number bars, and then you basically play around with it. You put your own numbers, your colors, and everything. Yeah, this is all this information is not really pertinent to this chart, but I basically just kept it like that. Back here, number bars. If you want the settings, again, number bars. Here is all the coloring. If you want to copy that, just keep it as reference. And there you are. Okay, so that was for the number bars. And you go to charts, chart setting. Here you have all the instruments. So I already have this rolled over to September. That's perfect. On this footprint, I have the highest delta, the lowest delta of each 30-minute bar. I have the volume profile with the delta. Here it is, here on this side. So this column is overnight. This is for the session, daily session. So you see the absorption here, 89s, 90s, good absorption. Market came down. This was the information that I was looking for. I wanted a cluster of a zone to rely on. So that 29.90 looked pretty good. Uh, yeah, so that last candle, so highest, lowest negative delta, highest negative delta. I use this just for, for context to see the ranges. I want to know if market is in range bound, is it respecting these deltas and all that. It's a question of experience. It's a question of how to look for levels. And so basically that was the last candle, and this is the 4 o'clock candle with the pullback. The pullback candle tells me from the high how much delta did we get, and from the low how much delta did we get. So I mean, look, don't really rely on the numbers now because these numbers are at the end of the day, but that's how I use those. I always look for unfinished businesses at certain levels. So that had unfinished business. That was good. I think there was a candle that it's a bit tricky. Yeah, here, this 230 candle, unfinished business at the high from a previous TPOC, but that's not all that important because it was a down candle. The direction of that candle was down. So when I have a red candle, I'm looking for the unfinished business at the bottoms to kind of like trade back to that, as keep it as a target. Oops, what did I do here? And then nothing. I mean, look, this is where you see the exhaustion from the sellers here at the 330 candle. Same thing here. I mean, 97, 51, 5. This is an exhaustion pattern, right? Looks like the 302s, we didn't have a properly closed auction, but the auctions at the end of the day don't really matter all that much. That's just my way of, again, unfinished business there. Let's look at this. So a lot of unfinished business at the highs of these candles, but I mean, they were mostly red candles, right? So this is a green candle, so direction was up, and I want to see the unfinished business here. At the high, sorry, at the high. So of the direction of the candle, right? Nothing there. And we've had decent drops in this market today, and it really was volatile. That 930 candle was special. I want to see if we can get to that 930 candle here. Give me 2 seconds. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's because it's much higher, right? 930 is this candle here. All right, so market opens at 31. My yellow here is the open. So market opens around this level. This is the open. Shot up. So again, nothing. The second candle also got there, but this is where I like to see. There was something that I wanted to look at. Yeah. So that first candle had a wide range of big deltas. The highest delta there, and the negative delta was at the top. So that's normal. Nothing really amazing there. The 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 candle that really looked, you know, oh yeah, this one here. This candle had decent buying at this level, but the next candle opens lower and does go trying to test this level, you know. So I'm seeing like levels with these 30-minute footprints, and this helps me in context to, you know, when it's a wide range, it's obviously a good chance for the market to rotate around these levels, you know. So that's how I look at it. So I'm going to try not to keep this too long. This is my market profile. And again, here is the TPO. So that's the TPO. If you want to quickly look at that, just go over it. Okay. Volume weighted average price. I just color the overnight sessions and all that. This is, uh, it's a time range indicator. So you just go to time. Oops. Time range highlight. Okay. And I have the overnight and all that. You can go with a countdown. Gives you the last how many minutes left in the 30-minute candle. Um, Again, daily open, high, low, close. You can use that for, you know, open previous day. You can play around with that. Here are the settings for that. Okay, and quickly on my, that's hidden. That's hidden. It's this one here. This is my TPO. So you can basically look at this VP. So this is the volume by price for the session. Here, just look at it. Copy the settings if you need anything there. All right. Hope this helps. Enjoy your day. And this is Sierra Charts.